Are you serious?
Only love can break your heart. Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go!
This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different band, different artist, and we break down the record and everything like that, and we try to have a good time while we're doing it. While you're listening, go to Apple Podcasts, go to Spotify, give us 5 stars and 5 stars only. All the social media is at Asinine Radio. What else we got? Discord. We have a Discord server if you want to join that. Let us know. We'll send you the link. And we have a phone number you can call, leave us a voicemail, shoot us a text. And that phone number is 503, what is that fucking number? 503-893-5307. So get into that. And yeah, Jeff, I don't know. The Born intro is out of the way. So what the hell are we doing today?
We are doing Neil Young and his album After the Gold Rush.
Jeff, what is your what is your origin story with the Neil Youngs? Go.
My earliest origin stories is hearing people sing. I think it was probably Cinnamon Girl. I don't know. Didn't like it. I camped. Didn't like it. Didn't care for it. Didn't pay attention to it. Fast forward to the first time I saw Dead Man with Mr. Johnny Depp's and Jeff Beck's. Not just Johnny Depp's, because they're nominated for a fucking Academy Award too, right? Or what's it called?
A Grammy.
Tony? An Oscar?
A Grammy.
Yeah, Grammy, the other one.
There you go.
The least important out of the 4. A Golden Globe, maybe. Fast forward to the Dead Man movie. I did, and I still do really, really enjoy that movie. And I like the soundtrack. And I liked the soundtrack when I first heard it. But never really cared that much. Neil Young was just this guy that old people talked about, and never really cared. And it wasn't until we started collecting the vinyls to where I really got into him. And I got a lot of his stuff for free. And luckily I kept them just because when I listened to them, I was like, oh, this is pretty damn good. I like this. But it really wasn't until like we both started kind of getting like really into it where I really kind of like listened. Not like a rich history. I tried to embellish it a little bit, but that was about it.
I mean, I'm with you. My origin story, I think the only time I remember ever hearing his music was the Dead Man soundtrack, and that was through you because you had me watch the movie, and I thought the soundtrack was cool. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't never enough to want me to go listen to a Neil Young record, and I don't remember ever hearing Neil Young prior to maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when we first started collecting vinyl and started to dove in headfirst into Neil Young's discography. But then once I heard some of his songs from this rec from After the Gold Rush, I realized, oh fuck, I know several of these songs. I know I've heard them, but I never made the connection that it was Neil Young. So really, honestly, yeah, my thing with Neil Young is I've only liked him for maybe a year and a half. So it's very, very new to me, or to both of us, like you said. And ever since we got all of this great vinyl, I can't stop. I cannot stop. I listen to Neil Young at least 2 or 3 times a week. Like, that's not even an exaggeration. Some of his records are just beyond fucking bangers. But I don't know. That's my origin story. It's not super interesting. It's not nostalgic whatsoever. It's just very, very new. Yeah, very, very new.
Nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, so there you go. So let's kind of we don't even need to do first impressions on this record. We could just jump in. I mean, we don't.
Pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have any stinkers? I don't either. How many bangers do you have?
I have all but 2.
All but 2. Okay, I have 11 bangers.
Okay, well, there's 11 songs. It's fine.
Well, there's 11 bangers. So
well,
let's jump into since we already played the song, let's jump into the title track after the Gold Rush. Arguably, probably the most popular song on this record. I don't think you disagree with me on that.
I think. Let's see. I think Notoriety. It may not be the most popular. I think Southern Man is also very popular.
Oh yeah,
because
that
of
is
its Notoriety. But after the Gold Rush is definitely probably like the objectively maybe the most popular. And that's my 1B. That's my biggest banger.
Oh, okay. That's my 2B. It's my 2B.
Dude, give me a fucking good acoustic track, a good acoustic driven track with some the flourishes. I'll die. I'll melt.
Acoustic being it's just him and a piano, not him and a guitar.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's really two instruments outside of his voice. Just the just that piano and then whatever that horn is. It's not a trumpet. It's a
flugelhorn.
Flugelhorn, yeah, which is like a kind of not oddly shaped trumpet, but just a trumpet with like a bigger cone, right? Isn't that what it is?
Yeah, it's not. There's something called that thing is called something. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but whatever. The I don't know. I don't know what the fuck it's called. Not that I care either. It's just fucking trumpet.
But I love how stripped down this voice is, but how stripped down the song is, but also how rich everything is. He can fill so much space with so little, if that makes sense.
This is one of those songs that honestly, like, just has no right to be this good. It really just does not. His vocals are so fucking cheesy, dude. They're silly. The piano, like, that's cheesy as fuck too. Like, there's a lot of things about this that are just if you put this on paper and said, here's what I'm gonna write, and you start writing these things out, like, it would be stupid. The high parts, they're not even like on point. His vibrato is a little forced, kind of silly. Mm-hmm. But like, fuck me, man, if that just doesn't make a perfect song in every goddamn way. Everything that I complained about, like, if you were to take any one of those things out, this song would not be as good.
Yeah, you're right. It's shocking that him singing as high as he does.
It's not even just good. It's not
really
good.
It's really not. But then I can't even explain what's so good about it at the same time.
I'm just like in trance. I cannot fucking not listen to it. God, I love it so much.
And it's such a simple melody too. Like, it's not like we were saying on the rankings episode. It wasn't. There's nothing that he does that's overly complicated. He's just really good at doing. I don't want to say one thing, but I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't know. He's truly something unique, truly something special, and that he could just take something so simple and just make it a million times better.
Dude, that flugelhorn drops. It is just unreal stuff. It's so
unexpected.
It doesn't even like overtake the piano or fight for the front spot. It's calm. It just adds a very deep complexity to the song. It is unfucking real how great that flugelhorn is.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
I don't know. This song is fucking beyond banger. I love this song so much.
It is. It is my 2B on this record. But I mean, really, there's not too much to talk about musically on this one because it is so stripped down and it's just such a stupidly beautiful song. I think that's how I'm going to describe a lot of his music on this episode, as just fucking beautiful.
This album entirely, he just has no fucking right to be this good either, honestly.
No, not at all. Not at all.
This cover art is fucking forgettable at best.
I know.
Like, nothing about this album has any right to be this great.
I know. You're totally right. The cover art is it's the black and white photo that's super grainy and looks like shit, with his name and the album name at the very top, but in like smaller print. It's just it's stupid.
Different versions, different pressings have different color of that. Mine is like a gold color. Yeah, some have like green, some have other colors too. But I don't know. It's just it's an incredibly forgettable cover art. But because the album is so goddamn good, like, you know what that is.
Absolutely.
And that is just, God, man, like, everything about this, again, on paper, man, everything about this album is just, it's dumb. It's forgettable. It's stupid. It's not. It has no right to be this good. It just does not.
Yep.
Doesn't.
And so, I mean, what do you have lyrically on this song?
Man, there's a lot of cool lyrics on this album. And I think that because he has shied away from dissecting his own lyrics, I think that just lends to more folklore about his already kind of folky stuff. But the song is set up to kind of tell a story. There's the past, present, future of humanity. If you go through each verse, the past talks of like simpler times, it reminisces on medieval times and romanticizes how happy and go lucky those people and those times were. The second verse, the present, has him laying down and contemplating like current life, but he's not taking his current state of the world too seriously because he just kind of wants to get high. And he even points out that like a friend kind of tells him the truth or shows him the truth, and he just hopes that it's not true because he's just not ready to hear it yet. And the third verse deals with like the future of humanity destroying itself, probably to be forced to like abandon Earth and set off into this like other planet or the sun, which is kind of what he sings about. But I think that's probably just a metaphorical thing for just complete annihilation.
I think so
I would
too.
think. But it's interesting to note. It's interesting to note that the first and third verses are in like dream sequencing, right? Because he says, "I dream," and so the second verse, which is the present, that's actual time. That makes you think there's this desperate plea to take action now rather than think about the future or wish we were in the past. And I think that's pretty cool. That's some
that is.
That's some top-notch level writing right there. I think a lot of his stuff, again, early 20s here, I think a lot of his writing, he just did it because it sounded cool, because it went with the melody. And there's one song on here entirely that I think is completely worthless lyrically, but it has a strong, strong melody. So the words are just there to supplement that.
I know
think
exactly what song you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a B, of course. It's fucking so good. But I think he writes things as like an early 20-year-old would be. It sounds cool, man. But this song literally is fucking rad. I love this one.
Yeah, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with your breakdown of the lyrics. I think that's exactly what it is. And I mean, at this time, and even up until now, he is very much an environmentalist. He believes that, man is destroying, the world and this and that, deforestation, all the stuff that they were dealing with in the 70s. I mean, he wholeheartedly was behind or supported, anti that. And what's cool about Neil Young too is that even though he is annoying, sometimes like outside of music, he's annoying sometimes. He stands by it, and he's always stood by his convictions and everything that he believed in. He's never really wavered. It seems like he'll just say stuff and just not give a fuck who it pisses off, and he just stands by it. He just stands by it for decades. I like that. Even though I don't agree with everything he says and does, I do respect that.
Yeah,
He's not a flip flopper.
definitely.
But yeah, no. After the Gold Rush, this is just a beautiful, well-made song lyrically. I think this is one of the better songs lyrically on this record. I think it's the only one that really kind of tells a story outside of just straight up depression and heartbreak.
This is one of my favorite songs lyrically. I think it is the best song lyrically. But there's some stuff on. There's a lot of stuff on this album that are good.
No, there's some great stuff. Yeah,
stuff that's nonsensical, but it's all good.
Yeah. All right. So then, what is your? Oh, this is your 1B.
What is your 1B? Since you don't like the popular songs because they're popular.
Only love can break your heart.
Oh man.
This song.
Serious? You're a balladman now.
Dude, you don't like this song?
That's my 9B.
Are you serious? How?
Only love can break your heart.
And then just that, oh God, those notes that go back into it. Boom, 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 boom. It's just so basic. It's so fucking simple.
Wow.
Oh, I love this song.
That's
and
crazy.
this song,
That's
every
insane.
time I listen to this record, this song gets stuck in my head. This song's been stuck in my head all fucking day. I've been singing it all goddamn day. It's the catchiest song on the entire record. I love this one. It's so weirdly melancholy, but there's like still these like glimmers of hope in the melody, in the melodies. He just has a way of evoking so many crazy emotions. There's very few artists I could say that about, especially new artists, or not new artists, but new artists to me. There's something about him that just hits so close, and I don't get it. I also really love the background vocals during the chorus. I think they're fucking solid. They're very kind of the time too. Like kind of reminds me of Joe Cocker a little bit. You know how he has the big choruses with like the bunch of people singing behind him and everything like that, like not chorus girls, but like, you know what I mean?
I mean, like they were doing with Crosby, Stills, Nash, Young.
I know, yeah.
There's a lot of that Crosby, Stills, Nash, Young thing in this album too. There's a lot of that harming.
Yeah,
they
definitely.
tried so hard to do, and I don't. I mean, we did.
They
Deja
did
Vu,
it,
whatever,
but they did it so well because his voice is so goddamn high, but he's still able to harmonize perfectly, absolutely perfectly with everybody else. None of it should ever make sense, but it does. I don't know what it is, how he does it, how he makes his voice that is so annoying sound so great with other people.
It's
That
true.
was like the
like
first thing I ever heard. That was like the first thing I realized when I listened to Deja Vu that first time. I couldn't believe how he was able to do that with his voice. Perfectly harmonized. Because it doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's just one of those artists that you look at him and without ever like thinking or knowing what he sounds like, if you were to sort of visualize in your head what he sounds like, what his voice sounds like, you would never expect that to come out of his mouth.
No, not at all. Because he looks like such a rough looking guy. Like he is an ugly man, and he just looks like,
for sure he's fucking
he
ugly.
looks like he's tough though. Like it looks like he'd fucking beat the shit out of you. He just looks like one of those guys.
Yeah.
But then he comes out with this like super high falsetto almost voice. It's wild,
And
man.
Did you notice this song is like a waltz? It's in that 3/4 time. That dun, dun,
Is it?
Dun, 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 dun.
I didn't notice that. No.
And it's fucking dope. I think it's super interesting. Like, why did he do that? Why did he choose to do that? Did it just match like the vocal melody in the only way he knew? Like, was it some sort of like subtle nod to the waltz actually kind of sort of dying out after the First World War? Like, why is this the only song that as far as I know that he's done in this era that we listen to that is a waltz that's in like the 3/4 time?
I didn't pick up on that. No.
Fucking
shit.
bizarre. And I do that. This song's fucking rad. I like it. I love the intro. I love those little like 3 counts to dun dun dun, and then we go in.
Yeah.
Love it. That's a straight like rock band. That's like, instead of like the 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, boom, boom. Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love that shit.
Oh my god. It's the subtlety. It's the little things like that. He doesn't have to do much to be great. It's remarkable. It's truly, truly remarkable. But lyrically on this one, supposedly this is a song he wrote for Graham
Nash.
Graham Nash. I can't even think. For Graham Nash and Joni, and well, really for him because he just broke up with Joni Mitchell. So this is kind of like a song about being heartbroken, reminiscing about when he was younger and more innocent, and he was more free, and then just getting his heart broken by a girl and all that kind of shit. I don't think it's anything too deep, and it's kind of weird that he wrote a song for Graham Nash.
I mean, these guys,
especially
like,
a song that's personal.
These guys wrote songs for everybody. Wrote a song for everyone.
I guess so.
CCR. These guys were writing songs for everybody. And they were just friends and always probably getting high and shit and fucking around with each other. I get it. And they were bandmates in Crosby, Stills, Nash. And his beef was mostly with Stephen Stills.
Which is crazy because, they worked in Buffalo Springfield. They worked together in Crosby, Stills, Nash. And then they did solo records together.
Yeah.
Like they constantly worked together, but constantly hated each other. Up until like when was the last Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young tour? I think it was like 2006, 2009 or something like
recent.
that. So it's like, what the fuck, man? They're constantly fighting with each other. And we talked about that when we did Deja Vu. We just talked about how stupid the band is and how much unnecessary fighting there seems to be.
It is really just Neil Young and Stephen Stills because even when we ranked their solo albums, like I like Graham Nash's solo album, I did, but it's insignificant compared to obviously this. And even Stephen Stills' first album, and even David Crosby's first album, but I forgot what my name was or something like that. I don't know what it was.
But that was the better of the three for sure.
But that had like Jerry Garcia. They had a bunch of like really well-known musicians from the Frisco area, the Bay Area, I guess, in the 70s. But I don't know. It is silly. It's stupid.
I mean, we don't have to play this song. This is your 9B. We don't have to get into that.
You don't want to play your favorite song?
We could. I don't know. It's so
okay.
low for you.
Whatever you want to do.
Fuck it. You know what? I will play it.
Okay.
I will play
It's
it
your pod. Do
because
whatever you want.
I know it is. So here's "Only Love Can Break Your Heart" from the Neil Youngs. "Only Love Can Break Your Heart" from Neil Young. I can't believe you hate this song. That's fine. So then, what's your 2B then?
Tell me why. Tell me why. Tell me why.
Every time I read it, I think the same thing. That's my 3B.
Okay.
That's my 3B. So what do you got on this one?
Again, I like the way this kickstarts the album. Just those 3 notes, a doom, 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 then simple, effective. Reminds me of like Crosby, Stills, Nash stuffs. A lot of harms here. I like his guitar playing. This is my favorite type of thing that he does. Simple chords, accentuate like his voice, but he adds these little cool flourishes, those little like hammers. Those are cool. Those get me. Super simple, very very folky, very country based. But his strum pattern is fucking dope, dude. I like when he hits the first chord harder and leaves a little space before and after he hits it to like really drive that home. So when he's like dropping into like a chord melody, and he goes like dun 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 dun, whatever it is, he hits that first one a little bit harder and lets it ring just a little bit long. I love that.
It's so fucking good. It's so goddamn good. I love too that this is another really stripped down song. It's just him and a guitar, really, or that's all it is. Just him and a guitar, and he's just strumming along. It's a song where he's perfectly in balance with his vocal. His guitar is perfectly in balance with his vocals, to where he's giving off the same sort of emotion with his strumming pattern, and not just the pattern, but just how hard he's hitting the strings in comparison to his voice. Like everything is just so interconnected that he's so fucking goddamn good at that. I love it. This is just a great. It's not just him just playing these chords and strumming normally. There's a lot of feel to his playing. I love it. And like I said, the backup vocals, the harmonizing is just unreal. It's a great opener. It's an absolutely great opener. I love this song. But I don't know, man.
But
I don't know,
sucks.
Well, no, it doesn't. It's my 3B.
Tell me why. No, it's a good song. I love this. I think I like the lyrics too. I think it's about love loss, searching for love, just wanting some type of intimacy. I also feel like there's this push and pull within himself. Like the music changes a bit in that way, and you kind of hear it. Like there's an inner turmoil almost. And I also think he's acknowledging he may not be like the easiest person to love. He's admitting he has faults. He's admitting that he's not perfect, and therefore, kind of give him some time here.
Yeah.
But it's worth it. He's worth the wait. Okay.
So I think this is about him being a little bit depressed, being down, having the blues, not having any motivation because of it. He just doesn't want to do anything, and there's just one thing that can bring him out of that, and it's that one person, that one special person that when he sees, he instantly just feels better just seeing her, seeing them, whoever he's referring to. But I think it's just about being depressed. It's just a straight depression song. That's what I got on this. I don't think it's anything too deep. Just a heartbreak love song kind of thing.
Okay.
That's good. It's a really good song. I love this one. So, fuck, we're kind of flying through this already, right?
There's not a lot here. There's really not. This is a very stripped down album. This album, like, really, what really makes or breaks this album is the melodies, and these melodies are like fucking Disney tunes. They're so goddamn catchy.
Yeah.
Like anybody that listens to like I Just Want to Be King for the first time, right? That's a fucking objectively catchy tune. Like same with a lot of these songs. Like these are fucking so goddamn catchy.
I know, it's remarkable. Goddamn.
Southern Man. So Southern Man's my 3B.
Okay, do you want to jump into that, or do you want to play Tell Me Why?
Oh, Tell Me Why? Yeah, play Tell Me Why. Whatever you want to do. I don't know, it's your pod.
Yeah, so here's Tell Me Why by the Backstreet Boys. Tell Me Why from the Backstreet Boys. Just kind of going back to his guitar playing when that chorus comes in, the proper chorus comes in, you just hear him hitting those strings so fucking hard. Like it's like this battle between the vocals and the guitar to see which could be louder. And then once the vocals kind of fade away, you hear him play softer, and he plays the higher notes, but he plays them way, way softer. He's not trying to like fight for the supremacy of the guitar over the vocals. It's,
Yeah.
dude, he's just, oh my God. And then now that I listened to it again, and you mentioned that one note that he hits that rings out for like not even just the super, super short that rings out right there. It's such a nice touch to transition into the next, because that's the transition from the chorus to the verse, and it's just that one very, very short note ring. God damn, dude, he's great. It's fucking insane.
Dude can write music.
It's so, everything he does is just so small and insignificant, but as a whole, it just creates something amazing. It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense whatsoever.
That's a good way to put it. Like, everything he does really is just so bland, insignificant, who cares, run of the mill.
Yeah.
But if you listen to it, it's like the opposite. It's bigger, better.
It's crazy, man. It's totally crazy. Makes no sense how good why he's so good. But anyway,
yeah, Southern
let's
Man.
move on.
Number
Southern
3,
Man,
baby.
that is your
3B.
3B. This is such a good song, man. It's my 4B.
Southern Man. So we're literally we are identical, except for the fact that you love Only Love Can Break Your Heart.
Yeah, I don't know why you hate that song. That's even dumber.
I mean, it's a good song. I like that song.
I didn't realize until today when I was finalizing my notes, this album is very top heavy.
Yes.
Like it's super, super top heavy.
Oh yeah.
And that's not to say the later songs are bad by any means. It's just, God damn, dude, it's just like banger after, you're just getting slapped in the face with all these bangers. It's unreal. It's fucking unreal.
Yeah. My first okay song is Oh Lonesome Man, or Oh Lonesome Me. And then my other okay song is I Believe in You.
Oh, okay, that's my 11B. I Believe in You is my 11B, and then Oh Lonesome Me is my 9B. So yeah, those are late bangers for me.
Okay.
All right, so let's get into Southern Man. What do you love about this song?
I like his more pleading style vocals here. It sounds like he's like pleading, like he's, you know what I mean, like he's trying to tell you something, even though if he's not or he is, whatever. That's just what it sounds like from his vocals. His guitar tone, fucking rad here. There's a perfect amount of light distortion to give it a more aggressive feel, but the tone is down a bit to allow for the chords to really be heard and felt. They're not buried in distortion, which happens a lot with distortion. If you just overdrive it a little bit too much, you can't hear anything. And I like that. There's some serious bass lines in this one too. We don't hear like a lot of great bass lines because whatever. This is not a jam band. This is an acoustic album that some songs just happen to feature a band on. And I get that. I love that. That's fine. His solos here, I love them. They're simple shits that just have like strong feeling and can really drive these songs forward. But like honestly remind me a lot of Fogerty soloing. They're simple but crazy, crazy effective. They're based in blues, but they're just more sloppy. They're more gritty. They're more like like just bringing it back to Jam Night here. Like when I solo and Jam Night, I'm not a good soloer or nothing, but I like certain notes. I like the way certain notes sound with other notes, whatever key we're in. And I'll let those ring out. I'll just go wait, over and over and over because I like the way it sounds. And this is my time. I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do. Nobody else likes it. If I can see people like kind of like wincing, like, oh, that sounds kind of shit, I don't give a fuck because I like it. And that's what this song has. That's what this song has, is solos that Neil Young likes.
I can imagine you doing that too, like just being annoying, hitting that one note, and just the stupid fucking shit-eating grin on your face when you could tell everybody's getting annoyed. And you're just enjoying annoying people. Yeah.
So long as I'm having a good time, This is my time. This is my time to shine. Whatever the fuck I want to do is what's happening. And the song picks up at the end, towards the end, right? Like, and they fucking really shines here too. More great soloing. Doesn't need to be wanky, but like he's still. You still know that he's doing it, and it needs to be heard, but it's not obnoxious.
Yeah, he's never a show-offy kind of winky guitar player at all. He never. Every song I've ever heard by him, he never winks at all. Everything is I don't want to even say perfectly placed, but everything is. It's just right. It's just right. It's sloppy, like you said, but it still fits real well. And his guitar tone, it's absolutely fucking killer. And this song, on everything, honestly, I mean, everything from his acoustic guitar tone to his electric guitar, everything is just sounds so fucking awesome and so clean. Well, like his acoustic playing sounds so clean. His electric playing, it sounds clean in that you can hear every single note he hits. Like he doesn't miss a note. He doesn't really fuck up. It sounds sloppy, but it's not him fucking up. It's more because about the feel rather than the technical aspect of it.
And I mean this in the most like respectable way, because I want to play like he does. Mm-hmm. I don't like soloing that much because I don't know. I'm never going to be good at it because I don't want to put the time in to be really good at it. I just don't want to. But I want to be like Neil Young. And what that means is I want to be able to know the sound that I want, and I want to be able to know like the root notes that I want to hit, but I don't want to be good enough because I'm not going to practice to like really perfect it. And I think like he's kind of the same way. He doesn't perfect any of his soloing. He doesn't really do like any kind of like arpeggios. He doesn't kind of like really like wail on those high notes. There's very, very little, if any, harmonics that he ever does. There's some hammer-ons, but he never kind of goes like the... Never does that shit. Because I don't think he... Yes and no.
Yes.
Yes, because he doesn't need to. But I also think like no, because he knows that that's just not what he wants out of his music.
Yeah, that's true.
I think this guy. I
don't think that kind of guitar playing would even sound good in these songs.
Dude, this guy just has like this fucking grasp on his own capabilities that is just like he knows his fucking limitations better than most, if almost like all musicians I've ever heard.
Yeah, that's true. That's very, very true.
Like that pursuit of tone thing, like he mastered it already on this third album. That's fucking second album really like mastered it already done.
You're totally right. I mean, his tone sounded great on his second record, but this one is where you're right, he perfected it. He perfected his songs, he perfected his tone, he perfected everything on this. That's why why I think this is his best record. Some of his best melodies, everything is on here. Maybe not like the darker tones like Tonight's the Night and that kind of grittier sound, but overall, this just has the best of everything he's ever done. Nothing could be better than this album by him.
Okay.
But this is also what I think is interesting about this song is also this is more of a piano driven song. It's not really guitar driven until you get into that bridge, but everything outside of that is very much the piano. It sounds almost like kind of cheesy 70s sounding, like it kind of reminds me of, I don't want to say Boston, but like Bad Company or something like that, like something that like the piano sounds like something like Bad Company would have done in the early 70s or something like that. You know, does that make any sense?
Yeah.
It's not.
It's very. It is
typical.
It's very typical, but that's because we heard everything else so much and have not heard this enough.
Yeah, I guess.
You know what I mean? And like this is the same guy. This is Jack Nietzsche, who's an old philosopher, I guess. But no, this guy Jack Nietzsche is the piano player here, and it's fine. He has some parts on this album that I was like, oh, that was pretty fucking rad, dude. You did a good job there. But then most of the time, he's filling space.
And it's crazy because you don't, even if you take the piano out of this song, it still could have been a fucking banger of a song.
Oh yeah.
You really could have taken it out. Maybe added like some guitar lines rather than the piano. But even if you just didn't do that, you just took out the piano, it could still be a killer fucking song. And one thing I didn't really pick up on until today was during the verses, there's some really, really subtle, lower in the mix background woos, like harmonizing woos. And they're very brief. They don't go through the entire verse. It's a very brief moment, yeah. And it's like, why even put that in there? But then when you really think about it, it's like that is the perfect accent for the verse. Are these little tiny woos that don't spread out through the entire verse, just that one part. It, once again, great fucking songwriting right there. It's the little things with him, man. The little things.
And this was a guy the guy that produced or helped produce that, David Briggs, has done so much with Neil Young in a way that like he's just been there since all the way up until like now 2021. He's been producing stuff for Neil Young. So for so fucking long, Neil Young and this guy David Briggs have been together. So
what a gig, like what a paycheck, you know?
I know, right? What a consistent paycheck.
Since the early 1970s, man. You're working with Neil Young, arguably one of the greatest songwriters of all time. Sold over 100 million records. You know, God. And all you do is sit in the studio and just like talk music with Neil Young.
Just he calls you every 3 or 4 years, and you know you're gonna get a little little $30,000, $45,000, $50,000 check plus some royalties probably, and
more than dude. You're gonna with Neil Young, you're gonna get way more than that. Jesus Christ, man! What a gig! What a fucking gig! Oh boy! Oh, and one last thing before we wrap up Southern Man, musically at least, this song he really kind of strains his voice. And I like that a lot. Like he sings in a little bit lower of a register during certain parts of the song, but he really kind of croons and strains it. And I think that it just he makes it sound so good. It doesn't sound forced. It just sounds very natural and it sounds fucking awesome. So I wanted to throw that one out there as well.
Southern Maryland. That's a good one.
All right. Should we play the song, and then jump into the lyrics?
Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff written for this one too. So
okay,
whatever.
So here's a bit of Southern Man, then we'll get into the lyrics by the Neil Youngs. There it is, a little bit of Southern Man from the Neil Youngs. So what do you got lyrically on this one?
Do you want to do the Skinner beef, or do you want to do like lyrics? I was just having a good time. I'm listening to the song. This song's so good.
It's fucking great, man. Well, let's get into the Skinner beef.
So the Skinner beef was short-lived because Skinner thought he was talking shit. He thought they were talking shit, but nobody's really talking shit. And so there was a brief beef between them, and it was squashed because Skinner realized that it wasn't intentional. And Neil Young wasn't really talking shit. Neil Young kind of like realized, like, yeah, dude, my lyrics can be fucking interpreted as that, and I can sound pretty condescending sometimes. And like that was it. Like that was fucking it. It was nothing more than that. And they moved on, and both groups covered each other's songs and wore T-shirts and just had a good time. But it has now been like this thing of a point of topic that I feel we need to talk about for history, for historical accuracy, I guess.
Yeah,
should have been brought up, but like really, it was nothing.
Yeah, because it went nowhere. I mean, they probably fought for like a month, or they had a beef for like a month. It probably wasn't even like anything at all. I don't know.
Not at all.
Yeah,
but it's interesting. So lyrically, dude, racism in the South of America, for all of our Chilean listeners, racism in the South. There's a lot of really great lines here that serve as aggressive attacks on racism in the South, as well as paint these pretty vivid pictures through his lyrics that kind of like put you in this place. It's fun. I like it. I like the way he's writing. And I mean, I go on for fucking days about coming off of the 60s, because the 60s, as far as like racism is concerned, I mean, good fucking God. So many things happened in the 60s that were pertinent to the civil rights movement. People were adults in the 60s that are alive today that like kind of witnessed these things, such as Neil Young.
Mhm.
And the second verse itself, I think, is a very aggressive attack on interracial relations. And like, don't forget that until the late fucking 60s,
Mhm.
that was when a law was enacted to forbid laws that forbade interracial marriage. So there were still states that forbade. Is forbade a word?
Forbid. They forbid. Oh, forbid. I think forbid's a word, but in this context,
I forbid you to go
forbid.
outside. But what if I forbidded you to go outside 2 weeks ago? Is it still I forbidded you?
I had forbid you. I had forbid you to go outside.
Fucking dumb. It's so stupid. I feel like every week there's a new word that we don't know how to properly conjugate in the tenses.
Well, normally
You're
I know how to
fucking
do it. You just
morons.
don't.
You
so I
don't
have to
know
correct
anything.
you.
You're the worst. You're the worstest.
I'm the worstest.
And yeah, it's crazy. I love these lyrics because it's a sharp reminder of just how shitty the 60s were, right? This whole counterculture movement is usually portrayed as being this great new renaissance of a younger generation coming together and changing things. And yeah, like things definitely changed for the better in the 60s, but like it was still a pretty shitty place to live in, especially if you were a woman or if you were not white.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's not
You're
forget
totally
that. And like again, the hippie movement, I've come to like really not like the hippie movement entirely.
right. Oh, it was terrible.
It's just fucking stupid. I can't stand the way it's portrayed in like the media. And that's something that I've come to terms with. I've learned in the past several years, even just since we've been more into the vinyls and stuff and like digging up old records. That's just something I've like, wow, man, the hippie movement is just a bunch of spoiled brats complaining about shit they actually don't care about. That's cool.
Yep. Yep.
Looks
Yep.
like,
Yep.
I don't know. But yeah,
What
that's what Southern Man's kind of about, I think.
What I like about this song is that the first verse and the chorus is from the perspective of I don't know, an African American person seeing how white people of the time were taking advantage of the other of people that they thought were less than them, and then the second verse, the last verse, is the perspective of that white person seeing his daughter or somebody he knows, a white girl with a black guy, and just how he's gonna pretty much cut him. He says, "Swear by God, I'm gonna cut him down. I heard screaming and bullets cracking. How long? How long?" That's pretty brutal.
I think
Pretty brutal.
there's definitely like no better way than to bring to light something that is so egregiously bad or wrong than to say it out loud, right? Like when he actually says, like, I've seen your black man coming around, swear by God I'm gonna cut him down. Like, that's so fucking aggressive. That's like so wrong. It just feels weird even coming out of my mouth. It's so
right?
bad. But I think there's no better way than to like, hey, here's what you're doing. And then when you say it, it's like, wow, that is pretty fucked up.
It really
And that's
is.
what we do that's what I do to my kids. So here's what you did. Here is how it made me feel. And then I say what it made me feel, and they go like, wow, that's fucked up. I'm sorry. So there's like that's just a good like learning way, a learning thing. And this is 1970. So like my closing arguments here, I'm going to claim that this is one of the best albums of the 60s. So this is kind of going in line.
Wait, so we're wrapping this up already?
No, not yet. I'm foreshadowing.
Okay, I was going to say, okay.
I'm foreshadowing.
All right.
Foreshadowing. I will
foreshadowing.
forbade, forbid. All these words I don't know.
Well, forebode and forbid are just they not even related to one another.
Forebode is like a foreshadowing, right? Is that what forebode is?
Foreboding is like it's foreshadowing of like a negative event. Like it's a like the darkness, the storm clouds are very foreboding. I think that's the right way to use it.
Okay.
now I'm looking at
No, you're the bestest fucking lyricist here.
yeah. So it's acting as a warning of something else.
The rain
something
clouds
bad.
forebode. It is like an
They look
adjective, is it a noun?
the rain clouds, the storm clouds look very foreboding. Like it's predicting like a bad event that's going to be happening.
Gotcha.
Yeah. There you go. That's what that means. I mean, I knew what it means, but it's hard to sometimes, you know.
I feel there's a
say it.
difference. Like if I read it in a paragraph or in context, I know what it means, but I can't explain what it means.
Southern Man, or no, yeah. What do we have anything else on this one?
No, that's it.
Okay, so let's move on. This is your 3B, right?
Yeah.
What's your 4B?
Did you not? Oh, that was.
This was my 4B.
Oh, that's right. Because we're in line, except for okay.
Yeah.
Except for
Except for-
your Balladman. Ever since Alkaline Trio.
Great fucking song.
My 4B is "Don't Let It Bring You Down." Don't
Okay.
let it bring you down.
Don't let it bring you down. This is a good one. It's my 6B.
Does not like this song. That's fine though. Okay.
I
Well,
love this song. That's why every song's a banger.
well, that's not true.
What?
And you will come around. God, I love that part. So good. I love the contrast in his vocals and the music.
Mhm.
They're very opposite of each other. Neil Young comes in hard. He comes in hard on this one. And then there's like lower octave chords in the piano that are super solid, but everything's kept on the low end, and Neil Young's higher. This is not his normal Neil Young vocals. These are a little bit higher, and the music is a little bit lower. So again, it gives you that contrast. They're pulled apart. Fucking love that. I love that because it builds tension. It builds tension between what he's saying and how he's saying it.
Yeah.
Even though what he's saying is like whatever. But
I will say though, I mean, this is a really great song, but in the context of the entire record, the melody is still a little weak. Still a little weak.
yeah, this is not about the melody. The melodies,
Yeah.
except for the "You Will Come Around" part, which I love. You will come around. Love the way he says it. It's so good. But that's not the focal point of the song. This is a song that is actually built to be a song. That's built to do something. There's cool bass parts in this one too. Mostly just like laying down those quarter notes over the half notes, right? The boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom. But it lends to like the slow burn that we already kind of like got going on here. I love the instrumental breaks. They go somewhere. They serve a purpose. And I love the way he sings the later choruses in a different way. Sometimes his vocals are a little more major sounding than the normal minor he's throwing out there. And the end of the song is a very like upbeat chorus. And it's
It
like,
is.
why did you just change that? Like, why did we just, I don't know what the key is, but like, why did we just go from an A minor song and now we're just doing like an A major? That's weird. I like that. Fucking bizarre.
I do agree with you. I think this is one of the few songs where the bass shines a little bit more, which is always cool. This is also a song that, because it lacks like the crazy great melodies from, the first half of the album. The song is more about telling a story than anything else. Like his cadence, the way he's singing is more like a storyteller, almost like more of a spoken word thing rather than a melodic song, even though it is very melodic. And I think that was entirely intentional, because I think that goes hand in hand with the lyrics, because I'll just jump into that real quick. I think this song is about being a junkie in the streets and pretty much hitting rock bottom.
Wow.
That's what I get from this, because I mean, when you think about it, he's always surrounded by junkies. I mean, look at Danny Whitten, a close friend of his in Crazy Horse. The guy was obviously at this time addicted to heroin, so he's seen people around him, just destroying themselves, destroying their lives, and that's why this has a kind of a somber tone. And this is also like a storytelling song, like I was saying. This is him telling a story that a lot of people don't want to talk about, but he is talking about it. And I like that. So,
see, I went with like a more meta lyrical thing here. I think this is about. So first of all, I think a lot of the things in the song are just are made to sound cool, and
Okay.
he does a lot of that. But I think this is about the passage of time. It's about the passage of time and how we can learn to accept and be comfortable with it. But there's a lot of stuff that like his young self probably just thought sounded dope, like the castle's burning, right? Because like a castle would crumble if it was whatever. But the chorus itself leads me to believe this. It leads us to think that his castle's burning are the eventual destruction of everything on earth, returning to the ground it came from. going back to normal, going back to just being non-existence on this earth. The turnaround part is like our ability to find someone or to connect with somebody and share this journey to ultimately help bear the weight of the burden of this impending death and destruction. We all are going to die. And when he talks about find someone who's turning and you will come around, God, that may be like my favorite line in the entire album. Find someone who's turning, right? Like literally turning their back, right? Looking to you, and you will come around. Like, yeah, you're going to come around because that person is turning to you. It's both metaphorical and it's both literal. But I think that's what this song is about. I think the song is about the passage of time and being okay with the fact that we are all going to die, and being okay with the fact that we need to find somebody to just share this journey with. God, okay. I love that. Find someone who's turning and you will come around. I fucking love that line so much. That may be my most favorite Neil Young line of a Vinny record.
Really? You think you like it that much?
Find someone who's turning and you will come around.
I mean, it's a good line, but I
dude, that's so good. Memorable. It's pretty goddamn good.
Okay.
Find someone who's turning and you will come around. I don't know. I got it. That's it.
I like your interpretation of this. I do like that a lot, but I'm still gonna stand by mine. But that's what makes his music and music in general so great, is that we can have these differing opinions.
Especially from a guy who never really comes out and says, "Oh yeah, this is what this is about."
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's very.
He once said his fucking words his lyrics are like thoughts. He said lyrics are just thoughts that I had at the time. If we start dissecting them, they lose their meaning. It's like, what does that even mean?
But then, on the other side, he'll say, "I don't know why I wrote those lyrics. I regret doing that. I regret writing that." It's like, if they were that throwaway, then why do you care so much about them? So, I don't know. I think he's full of shit.
Dude, I don't. Who knows?
All right. Do we have let's play a little bit of "Don't Let It Bring You Down." Sound good?
Let's do it.
"Don't Let It Bring You Down" from Neil Young. There you go. "Don't Let It Bring You Down" from Neil Young. It's a great song, man. Good. It really is.
So good.
All right, then.
Let's jump into the next song. 5B or your 4B, I guess. No, your 5B. Our 5B.
No,
my 5B.
Yeah, what's your 5B?
Cripple Creek Ferry.
That song is so catchy. That's my 7B.
Okay.
That's a really good one. This is a song where I think it has one of the catchiest melodies on the entire record, but some of the dumbest lyrics on the entire record.
This is like his country folk song. This is just telling a story through constant melody. It's a little bluesy sometimes, but it's just a song just to kind of have fun. I love this melody, but that's what I like a lot of, just like "This Land Is Your Land," even though that means something, but that's a very like melody driven song. That's a very folk thing to do, is tell a story through melody. And that's what this is. And I like it. And it's fucking dope. And even like the lyrics are a little bit goofy, a little bit silly. But I think this is kind of like it's so weird because he's fucking Canadian too. So I don't know. I know like literally nothing about Canadian history. So when I say these things, it still boggles my mind that he's more like enriched in American culture than I am, and I'm from here. But I read this as like an ode to riverboat, because remember like riverboat casinos, when gambling started to shift from being a fun parlor game to being labeled as a vice. Then laws started like springing up, usually from like religious groups and things like that. But then like the railroads happened and kind of like circumnavigate all that stuff. But riverboat casinos, right? Red Dead Redemption, all of these things. Like riverboat casinos were a thing. Yes, exactly. Riverboat casinos were a thing because the fucking Mississippi River was unregulated. Like there were no laws on the Mississippi River, so you could put a casino on the fucking river, so long as it wasn't attached to land. They can move about. And I think this song kind of like is an ode to that. It's like, hey, remember those things? Yeah, that was a cool part of history. And again, that was a cool part of American history. I don't know if other countries had it, if other continents had it. I don't know. But that's just what I read this as from a Canadian-born musician.
I think this was just a way to end the record on a positive, not a positive, well, I guess a positive note with how upbeat and catchy it is, because the entire record is just really kind of a depressing record, lyrically, musically, everything. I think this is just a way to just end it on a happy note, and that's it. I don't think it's any deeper than that. I think the riverboat casino thing, I think it's probably something that he probably enjoyed gambling, so this is probably just like a fun
Who
little
does it?
like a fun little thing for him. I don't think there's anything deep about this. And like you said, I don't know anything about Canadian history, so I don't know if this is a thing up in Canada. But I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of water up there.
You know what I read today was, I guess Donald Trump was using a Neil Young song like in 2020 or something like that for one of his campaigns, and then Neil Young like sent a cease and desist. And I thought, Donald Trump, who obviously is America first, make America great again, all that bullshit. He uses a Canadian song,
Yeah.
which I thought was a little, I just thought it was amusing to say that.
I mean, I don't want to get into the whole like political landscape of Neil Young because it's both admirable and frustrating.
Yes.
But like Donald Trump using a Neil Young song, that should have been just like a no-brainer. Like, okay, he's gonna have something to say about this, bro. Like, come on, whoever's on your cabinet that told you this was a good idea is a fucking moron. He should be fired.
Yeah, like it's not even just that he's Canadian. It's the fact that knowing Neil Young's history, why the fuck would he support Donald Trump? And he like even before that, he like wrote an open letter to Donald Trump to get your shit together, like fuck off. Really, that's what he said in an open letter to him. And then they decided to use a Neil Young song, unless they did it just to piss him off, which honestly,
I would like that.
me.
I think that'd be fucking dope.
That would be pretty fucking funny, yeah. Just to do it as a fuck you.
We've now entered like politics is a game, sort of of decade of our lives where people treat politics as a fucking game.
Yeah,
and that's super annoying. Like, oh, don't vote for this person because that's just to vote for this person. It's not a fucking game, dude.
Treat it as a game, and they treat it as a way to idolize these crooked assholes. That's what our society has come to.
It's weird too because when people idolize like athletes, you get made fun of. They don't care about you. They're not gonna fucking pay your bill. But nobody says that kind of shit about like politicians. When people idolize politicians,
Yeah, unless it's the politician that you don't align with.
That's true.
That's the only time. All right, yeah, we got to shy away from politics,
Politics.
Cripple Creek Ferry. What?
That was my 5B. What is your 5B?
My 5B is When You Dance, I Can Really Love.
Okay.
This is just like a faster song with the full band, good bass lines, cut through the mix, super, super nice. There's also a lot of swing on this song. The drummer really kicks it up on this song, really, out of every song on this record. He kind of shines on this one because of that swing. And it gives the entire song a different feel from everything else. Some good guitar leads. The guitar tone is obviously killer. And, yeah, I don't know. I think musically this is better, not better than Neil Young's vocals, but they shine a bit more than normal.
I have two takeaways from this song. One is the piano. The piano has these slides that
oh yeah,
all the way down the keys,
and I hate it. I hate it.
It's like, but nobody does that. 'Cause it's a very like honky tonk saloon fucking shit, dude. Like this is.
It's so cheap. It's so cheesy.
But like, I mean, we don't have a lot of music that has a lot of like really aggressive kind of honky tonk piano kind of going on.
True.
Let alone that slide. I fucking love a good piano slide. Whenever I touch a piano, what's the first thing I don't know how often you're around a piano, but
I get it.
Do you ever touch a piano if there's a piano ready to be touched?
Yeah, I do.
And do you slide in any way?
Tickle the ivories a little bit, as some might say.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
And the other part is Let Me Come Over. Like that, let me come over, that part, love it. Love that shit. I love singing it along. And this one does have like a more jammy feel to it. Like everyone kind of gets their own little riff to kind of go off of. I think the piano one is the one that really just stood out to me because
it's so cheesy,
so
man.
Stupid. It is, But I love it. I love
I
it.
remember when I was
you don't hear that shit anymore.
I remember when I was a kid, we had a piano in our house, and yeah, every day I would walk down. Anytime I would walk by the piano, I would just put my finger on one key and just slide it all the way down, just because I could.
Because it sounds cool. I like
It just
it.
no, it sounds fucking dumb.
Oh, I love it. I think it sounds so dope.
It's so obnoxious, but I would just do that to annoy my family. Good stuff.
Yeah. Okay, that was my 7B. That's fun.
Okay, I mean, I lyrically on this one, I mean, we don't have to play this song. I don't care to play it. Lyrically, I'm not really sure what this song was about. Do you have something on this one?
I thought this was about dancing with somebody you love. That's what I put.
I don't think it's. I think it's just. Yeah,
That's
I
all
thought
I
it
got. I have no
might have been
idea.
about a girl that he loves, but that's it. But I'm good to move on with this song.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
So what do you got for your 6B?
Till the morning comes. This is the song. This
Okay.
is the song. This is the song. Tyler, this is
Yeah.
the song.
Till the morning comes.
Yeah, this is the song that this is a fucking banger of a song. It's just this reminded me of some sort of like the way it starts, like an old like French Renaissance ditty, like you're playing for the fucking king, and then it kind of like turns into something a little bit more rowdy, a little more raucous. It's just such an easy melody that builds on itself, builds really well. It reminds me of, I don't know if you're feeling the Granddaddy, but that song "Walk Up the Side of the Mountain." I want to walk up the side of a mountain. I want to walk
No.
down the other side. That's the whole song. It's like 6 minutes of just that, but it builds. It just builds and builds and builds and builds. It's super dope. And that's what this song does. This song is just the same fucking thing. It's only like 2 minutes, but same fucking thing throughout the whole time. And just kind of builds on itself. Masterful. Love it. Again with the flugelhorn. Love it. But like lyrically, this is just a melody. This is a melody-driven song that, hey, we should put lyrics to this. What do you got? I don't know. How about this? And that's it.
So, I mean, yeah, there's very few actual different lyrics on it. It's just very repetitive. But I feel like in the context of this entire record, the darkness and the depression that he feels on this album and loneliness, I feel like this song is kind of a threatening song. Like he's threatening whoever it is, saying, "I'm gonna give you till the morning comes." And the way I feel like the way he's singing it is kind of sarcastic. And like I'm gonna give you till the morning comes until something bad happens. You know, you have this amount of time until something bad happens. I feel like he's reached his limit of just being over somebody and being pissed off at somebody. That this is a threatening song, and I feel like it goes well because this is one of the few happy songs on the record outside of the last one. This is the only true upbeat happy song, and it doesn't make sense unless you think of it as a sarcastic thing and him actually threatening somebody. It's cool. It's a good song, but it's
a good
very
song.
simple. Minute and a half, I think. Minute 40.
Yeah, super quick, super short, super catchy though.
Do you think it was just like, oh, I have this really good melody, and then they started recording? It's like, I don't care anymore. It's a good melody. I don't want to write a song around this anymore.
Absolutely.
just threw it on.
I don't want to call it laziness because it's not that Neil Young was lazy, because clearly he's not fucking lazy. He's releasing an album every 3 years for the past 50 years. It's not about being lazy. It's about being like picking and choosing your battles. I like this. I like this melody. I like what I'm doing here, but I don't feel like I need to write a song around it. Therefore, I'm just going to say this over and over and over and over. I think it's strategery.
Strategery? Yeah.
Strategery. Mm-hmm.
All right, so then let's move on from this song. Should we kind of wrap it up, or I mean, we talked about almost every
I'm ready.
song.
I'm ready to jump in. I'm ready to jump in the final thoughts.
Okay,
Right?
because I mean,
the rating, whatever it is. What do we call it? The rating?
the rating, yeah,
The rating? Okay.
because there's only 3 songs we didn't talk about, and that's fine.
fine.
Yeah,
That's fine.
They're my
Yeah.
9, 10, and 11B, so I'm totally fine with that.
One of them is not a B for me, so.
Which one? Which one
Actually,
was
2
it?
of them are not Bs. I Believe in You is not a B,
Oh, that's right.
and then Oh
And
Lonesome
Almost-
Me
Oh,
is not a
Lonesome
B. You like Oh Lonesome Me?
That's my 9B. It's a low B.
That one honestly was like it's not a stinker by any means. It never would be. But damn, dude, that is my lowest of low B on this album.
it's an interesting song because it's very harmonica heavy, which I don't really care for the harmonica, but it also has a very like country western vibe. Like you're watching an old western movie. This sounds like a song that would be in some 1950s western movie, like John Wayne movie or some shit like
Fucking
that.
cover song of an old country artist.
Is it really? No, it's not.
Yeah, it's a
Is it?
it's a
Oh, I
cover.
didn't-
It's a cover song by an old country artist named Don Gibson.
Oh,
It was
shit,
produced by
okay.
Chet Atkins. That version.
Wait, what? This no, not this
Yeah.
version, right? Or the original?
No, the original version was produced by Chet Atkins.
Oh no, shit.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's whatever.
All right, well, whatever. Let's wrap it up. Let's give our final thoughts on the record. We're also going to rate the record according to our world famous 3-point rating system, where 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album you're going to continue to listen to, 1 is a bad album, but give it a shot, and 0 is the worst thing you've ever heard. So, what do you got, Jeff? Go.
I don't have a lot of history with Neil Young's, so it's hard for me to like have nostalgia play a factor in this. So it's strictly just off of the past since we've been collecting the vinyls. Essentially, I think that Neil Young has done something that, love him or hate him, the only other artist that comes to mind is Bob Dylan. Somebody that's been around for so fucking long, that has written music from beginning to now that is still relevant, either musically or socially. And Neil Young is just a guy that is just, god damn, the guy can write some fucking good melodies. And I love Bob Dylan, as we know on this podcast,
Yeah, I don't
but
know why.
Bob Dylan doesn't write a lot of really strong melodies like this. He writes a lot of good folk songs, but folk songs his folk songs can be more story driven to a tune, to a beat, to a chord progression, whereas Neil Young is more folk songs driven to a melody. I think that's like the big difference between the two in my eyes now.
Yeah.
I will say this came out in 1970. It was recorded late 60s, probably written, fucking. He's probably been writing music since like the mid 60s for this album. So I will say that this is one of the most important albums of not only the 60s but also the 70s. And you think like the biggest albums of the 60s, right, that came out, like fucking Jimi Hendrix, Are You Experienced, that came out in the 60s. A lot of Bob Dylan came out in the 60s. Pet Sounds came out in the 60s. Sgt.
Beatles
Pepper's
stuff.
came out in the 60s. I think this is just as important. Not sonically, because it's not pushing the envelope in any way, but this is reminding us that, hey, dude, like the 60s are not all that great. Here is why. That's good songwriting. Now let's go to the 70s. This is a very important album to the 70s. This is for sure a top 50 of both decades. Absolutely. And like the 70s. What are some of the biggest albums of the 70s, right? We have Zeppelin coming in.
Zeppelin, Sabbath.
We have all of the big three releasing albums from the punk scene.
Yeah.
Miles Davis is going into like the Bitches Brew territory. Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. The Stones are really on their stride with like Exile on Main Street, Beggars, all of these things. Marvin Gaye did it, and that was recently the top album of all time by the Rolling Stone. Which is
Marvin
stupid.
Gaye? Really?
Yeah, Marvin Gaye, What's Going On? Yeah, Rolling
I mean,
Stone put that as their
it's a good record, but damn, dude, that is
overrated
not-
for sure. Overrated for sure.
Do you have it on vinyl?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do too.
Overrated for sure.
Paid like $2 for it. It's pretty beat up.
Damn.
It's like a beat up copy though. It plays through fine.
I bought a beat up copy for $15. That's a
No,
fucking.
mine
Do
was
you have What's Going On, or do you have Let's Get It On?
I have What's Going On.
The one with his face like looking upwards, or like the one where
oh,
he's like dancing
no.
with the red hat.
The red hat one, yeah.
That's Let's Get It On. That one you
Okay,
can find a little
that's-
bit cheaper.
Yeah, that's the one I got for $2 at White Rabbit. Long time ago.
What's Going On, solid. That is nowhere near a top fucking album of all time. That's silly boy talk. But
Yeah.
with the 70s, we're we're getting into more long written songs, more genre defining music, more things that are just like, I don't know. That was like the whole
Experimenting.
David Bowie thing, right? Like in the early 70s too, like Ziggy Stardust. That was all like this fucking 70s too. There's more experimental stuff. And Neil Young is doing things that are reminding us of the 60s, but also still reminding us that music should be like singer-songwriter stuff. But then we just talked about it, dude. We just talked about how he's writing a melody and the lyrics don't fucking matter. So I think this album transcends just like one decade. I think this is one of the most important albums of the 60s and one of the most important albums of the 70s. I think this is fantastic. I think Neil Young can really do no wrong in the 70s. We've talked about it before. The guy just fucking owned the 70s. Just really owned the fucking 70s. Just had like a firm grasp on the goddamn 70s. Dude was like fucking, I don't know, Ken Griffey Jr. up to bat here. Barry Bonds. Just everybody feared him.
Yeah, it's
But
like
he was humble.
yeah, there are some records that are better than this, but as like a career total, like even looking at all the Zeppelin stuff from the 70s, all of it's great, but not all of it is as good as all of Neil Young's stuff in the 70s. You know what I mean? Even with Sabbath, later Ozzy stuff was great, but it wasn't anything compared to later Neil Young stuff from the 70s. It really wasn't. As a whole, what Neil Young did in the 70s was some of the best shit from that era, for sure.
This album really transcends just being a period piece. It's not just like a reminiscing album of lovers and relationships and being heartbroken, even though it does that better than any fucking album in the 70s I can think of off the top of my head, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's also like a reminder again. Like I bring it up several times, but it's a good reminder that the 60s were not that great, man. The 60s were rife with like racism and political strife. It was bad. People thought they were going to get annihilated by Russia. Like it's insane how the 60s were not what the Woodstock documentary on Netflix wants you to believe it was.
Yeah, the way people romanticize the 50s and 60s is crazy to me. I mean, yeah, when you watch all these movies that make it so picture perfect, yeah, of course it looks amazing, it looks great. But when you really dive deep and see the racism, just all the sexism, everything, the 50s and 60s were rough. They were not a great time to be alive unless you were a very exclusive people, unless you're a white dude. Honestly,
and Neil Young is reminding us of that. And, I mean, you can just fucking like Google, best records of the 60s and 70s and just count how many records that came out in that decade and the best of that aren't rock and that aren't just like white people. And and again, I don't think What's Going On is the best album of all time. That's Silly Boy Dog. That's not even the top 20, 30 even.
No.
But I don't know, man. This is a perfect album through and through. Even though I think 2 songs are just okay and I could do without them. I think what this did for music, what this is doing for music, whether you like it or not, doing. That's not like Donald Trump. Doing. What this is doing for music.
Your boy Donald
today.
Trump.
It's my boy, baby. Through and through. Got a tattoo of Donald Trump on me. What this is doing for music is great. I think Neil Young is oft overlooked, for sure, in the guitar landscape. I think he's a severely underrated guitarist, soloist.
I think so too.
Songwriter, underrated. Lyricist, underrated. And the thing about this guy is just absolutely underrated. I don't know why. I don't get it, but I don't know. It's a perfect album. That's 3 out of 3, for sure. Easy.
3 out of 3 for you. All right.
Easy.
Damn, man. I agree with like pretty much everything he said. I think he's underrated in every sense. Maybe not lyrically so much. I'm not huge on his lyrics. I think what he believes in outside of music, I agree with him on some of it. I think he means well. I think he goes about things, a little too aggressively to where it makes him seem like kind of kooky. But no, this record, I don't know why I'm talking about that. This record After the Gold Rush,
I guess he's kind of kooky.
he kind of is though. But yeah, this After the Gold Rush, it's just unreal that this man can write these kind of songs. I mean, like I said, not just his vocal melodies, but the way he plays the guitar in conjunction with those vocal melodies. Like it's all just one beast. It's all one thing. Like we've talked about Bradley Nowell from Sublime. He's very similar. It's just like they're so intertwined with one another. You can't really take one out of the other because it just wouldn't sound right. He just knows how to perfectly blend it all. And this Neil Young, man, this guy, man, this unknown singer-songwriter Neil Young, he deserves more credit. He really does. He really, really does.
I know he does.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna go on. I'm gonna give it. This is a perfect 3 out of 3. That's just silly boy talk. Anybody that says that it's lower than that they're dum dums. They're all dum dums. They're dumb. That's dumb. It's 3. It's a 3 out of 3. Perfect album, through and through. But I don't know. Do we have anything else on this one? For Neil Young?
That's all.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. If you haven't listened to the rankings episode, go listen to we rank 12 of his records from the 70s. Go get into that. It's a good time. And yeah, that's it. That's all. Are you serious? How?
Only love can break your heart. Fucking dumb. They're so stupid. I feel like every week there's a new word that we don't know how to properly conjugate in the tenses.
Well, normally I know how to do it. You just don't.
You
so I
don't
have
know
to correct
anything.
you.
You're the worst. You're the worstest.
I'm the worstest.